tell me about the journey. So you start this tree service and you're doing this, and are you at that point like kind of a one-man operation? Do you hire a staff? Like I want to get a kind of sense of like how big was big before we started franchising?
Well, I can tell you in 2005, I never thought that I would have been franchising. I was in the industry for 13 years prior. I was the dude, Frank, that went from high school right into work.
Okay.
So I had a really good work ethic. I had parents that worked real hard, so I knew what hard labor could do. And I always believe hustle beats talent every day. I still
Absolutely.
believe that. So I spent 13 years in the industry, and I was really lucky. I spent the first 8 years I was out in the field, working production. And then I started with a company. I got some sales and management experience before I started my business. When I started, I was the owner operator where I was doing the sales. I was going out. I had one employee who is still with me. My first and second employer are still with me
Nice.
to this day, which is an awesome story to talk about. But just kind of like, slowly grew the company. No way did I ever even think of franchising. I never thought I'd be as big as a corporate company as I am today, offering all the different lines of services. My goal in 2005 was being I was in the industry. I was like, I can grow a 7-person company. I can be the front person, like salesperson. And I knew how much money I could make.
Okay.
So to watch the evolution go from a 3-car garage to an operations center, to an admin center, to a second corporate location, and then franchising, it's been an awesome journey.
It's been an incredible ride. What's been one of the biggest things you learned early on that you attribute, your success to?
Man, it's definitely hiring really good people. I've made mistakes, man. I've hired some people that I shouldn't have, and I held on to them.
Sure.
But when you have really good people that you don't have to manage, because I think there's that term when you have to manage someone, you made the wrong hiring decision. And I've really noticed having really good people that support your vision and want to grow, just like, with the company, it makes your life a lot easier as a founder and a CEO.
I would imagine too, in your business, it's so important that that your employees see you as this real person. They see you as willing to work just as hard as they are. You don't position yourself to be like too good to doing the work because you did it.
Yeah, I think I think one of the benefits of being in my position was I started in this industry, the tree care industry,
Mm-hmm.
at the most level entry position. I was 17 years old, and that they call that a ground specialist, where you're basically dragging brush, chipping brush, raking up after everybody that's up in the trees. And I was able to climb that career ladder, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean, going into every single opportunity and position there is to become an owner. I think that's really important. I think that resonates with a lot of, we have 70 plus people at the corporate level right now. And I can speak to everyone on, whether they're coming in their first day as a grounds person, or it's an experienced crew leader, or an arborist account manager, operations manager. I get it because I've lived it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you didn't have this arborist background. You just started out as, you're a tree guy.
That's one of the best things about this industry. So the majority of people in this industry, and when I say this industry, tree care, lawn care, pest control, you don't wake up saying, hey, I want to climb trees. I want to go out and I want to spray lawns.
Right.
Kind of fall into it. But then nature keeps you there because, your outdoor becomes your office. Yeah, you deal with some challenges in weather, but, the majority of the time being outside is just wonderful. You get a lot of client interaction. There's a lot of pride. There really is. There's a lot of pride in this work when you're, taking care of someone's landscape and it looks, much more beautiful from the time you arrive to the time you leave. So there's a lot of good feel to it. It really, really is. And I think the majority of everyone that I know in this industry has just kind of fallen into it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It wasn't, we don't have many people that you don't go to school to learn how to do a lawn care application or pest control. You know what I mean? There's
Right.
forestry or tree work, but they're mostly working in the forestry sector for states or, different, departments within a state.
And most people don't go to school for franchising either, which you got into. So, I was looking at the stats here. So you've got 18 franchise units open already. You have 5 company-owned locations. You went back to saying that you founded the company in 05, yet you didn't franchise till 2021. So I'm super curious to hear about this journey of yours. So what What led you to say, I want to franchise this? Because you've been around for 16 years. You could have just kept, growing your company owned location and made a great living. But what brought you to franchising?
Well, that probably would have been the easier part, continuing to grow my own corporate owned location. I've always believed in, growing a business. What I found over time is that it really kind of helps all your current people continue to move up. We do a lot of hiring within, so the more that we grow, the more my people can grow with me and basically look at the career ladder that's being evolved within the company and letting them continue to know there's going to be more opportunity for me. As we grow, I grow with the company. And I really do. I mean, every supervisor I have, every operations manager, the majority of my salespeople, we're all technicians that grew with the company and got into the position that we're in now. I think what we have is very unique. Our value proposition, we're really 3 franchises in one. So we offer the tree care sector, general tree care, which is pruning, removal, cable and bracing trees. We do something called plant health care, which is insect disease management on trees and shrubs that we're spraying. We do fertilizing of trees and shrubs. And really I started my business like that, Frank, in 2005. It wasn't until 2017, we added a bolt-on service of lawn care applications.
Okay.
So we developed a lawn care program. We started really interacting with I had, thousands of current clients at that time. So we were able to launch that department very well. 2020, we launched our pest control department and we opened up our second corporate location. We kind of did that as a franchise model because I knew that's where we were going.
Mm-hmm.
So we put a plan together to open up this second corporate location. What's it like? At that time, I was a 50-some person company, but we never opened up a second location. So we opened it outside of our operating unit and said, hey, what's it going to be like to get in, penetrate the market, develop new equipment and vehicles down in that area, get an operations center and get new clients and get new market share? How are we going to do that? So we learned a lot by doing that. And that was kind of like my franchise prototype. It was, going back a little bit, 2019 is when the whole franchise kind of idea came to my mind, where it's like, I think with what we're doing, we have hell of a processes and systems. And I mean that we are very, very documented on this is the way that you run this business. This is how you do this process and procedure. And we had it, we just had to put it all on paper and really organize it. So we started doing that, knowing in the intentions that, hey, in 2021, we wanted to launch a franchise system. And that came because, I want to make more money like everyone else.
Sure.
I want really good partnerships to be able to do that. And having level-minded, growth-oriented people that can come in and really see the scalability of this business and really join forces with us, I think is what really gets us going.
Josh, okay, I got to ask you this. First of all, I love the logo. I think it's great. But I've got to know, how in the world did you get Joshua Tree Experts trademark approved?
I don't know.
You don't know? Like, that's it.
I can tell you this. We actually, I had a backup plan that we were going to maybe have to rebrand.
Oh, wow.
I really did. I was actually talking to different companies on, hey, what type of unique name that we could come up with.
Okay.
And we had a bunch. We did. We had backup plans and different ones. And we actually even submitted some as a trademark just so that if we had a rebrand. But Frank, rebranding, we have probably 40-some vehicles, letterheads, brutal, right? Time consuming and a big cost of money. So got with my attorney, said, hey, we want to see if we can get this trademark through. And I really, honestly, my thought was, we are not going to be able to do this.
What did the attorney say when you went to go file it?
He said, you're probably not going to get,
this is probably not going to happen.
That's why we had all these backup plans. I was investing even more money in case it failed. So we submitted it, and it was probably about a 4-month waiting period.
Sure. Yep.
We got our 30-day probation period. And I was just like, holy smokes, I couldn't believe it. And 30 days went through, and before you know, we started trademarking, other names within the business too.
Wow. Okay. Just for historical purposes, you may look back on this years from now. What was 1 or 2 of your favorite backup names if this Joshua Tree Experts name didn't work out? Can you share with us?
TLP was one of them. So it would have been, and just JT. Okay. JT Tree Experts was the other one. So it wasn't this elaborate. As I was talking to these other companies, because I did engage with this name branding company.
Uh-huh.
They wanted $20,000 to say, hey, we want to start engaging on a name rebrand. And I had them pivot as a backup saying, hey, let's hold here because I want to see until they say, hey, it's going to fail. I didn't want to throw $20,000
Of
at
course.
cash. So I got together with a consulting group that I utilized when I launched, and Joshua Tree Experience was one of them.
Okay.
Got a bunch of different names that we were going to put out there. And we just said, hey, what's something simple that if we needed to go, and we actually put those through for the trademark, we just never accepted them then because this one took.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.